With Module 4, there's an additional activity tied to phylogenetics and looking at organisms' relationships using DNA technology such as DNA barcoding and comparing them to other species. So this is a little bit similar to what you did with your different insect and Wolbachia DNA samples in 1107. However, today you're going to be looking at minke whales rather than insects or bacteria. So if you go into Module 4, you'll see an assignment called the Minke Whale Mystery Meet. Okay? And you can click on the overview, which gives you a kind of a lead into the assignment itself with some additional information about food fraud and whaling, both in nations that adhere to the International Whaling Commission and those that have left it, such as Japan. Next, you'll find some additional background on different whale species that are possible sources of meat, including some additional resources if this is a topic that you'd like to dive into a little deeper, and some information on how DNA barcoding works. Okay? Once you've finished reviewing those resources, the next page is the actual assignment itself, the worksheet. Okay? I've made this as a fillable PDF as well, so you can download the file. I don't advise editing it here in D2L, but if you download the file here, you'll be able to edit the PDF and save your answers to submit it as an assignment. Okay. So you'll go through answering, coming up with some general background questions that you have based on what you've read, what the investigation question is that you and the scientists are actually trying to answer, and then work through what your alternative hypotheses and supported evidence would be for each of those hypotheses as well. Now, keep in mind this evidence can be very straightforward and simple as far as the DNA from the sample matches this species, okay, minke whale or northern right whale, for example. Then you're going to go to this link here, which I've also linked directly in D2L, and you're going to be analyzing virtual versions of the samples that the researchers collected, identifying what species they are associated with and how similar it is to other species that you have. Once you've done that, you'll be identifying and interpreting that data as far as, well, is it actually legal meat or not? And comparing that back to your original hypotheses. Reacting to those findings and matching up the data with an actual phylogenetic tree and comparing all of the different samples. Okay? So once you've finished, you'll be saving and submitting this file into the Dropbox. The data itself looks like you see here. So we have their collected samples of whale meat, analyzing the DNA. Okay? So if you click on a sample, it gives you the actual DNA code, okay, for the string of DNA that they're analyzing. And then the submit button is missing its image, but it still functions correctly. So you can submit the sample, and then it gives you a relationship to the other whales and similarity to those whales as well. So here, sample 1 that we clicked on, so unknown 1, is clearly most closely related to northern minke whales, okay? And we can see that based on the similarity to other species, topping out at 100, and so that gives us a good bit of information about what species this meat was likely collected from. To view the results for the other samples, simply click on the tube that the DNA sample is located in, and then that will take you back to the submission page for that sample so that you can submit it and each of the others.